Hello viewers, this is the part 14 of the series named Mastering OEM, and in this tutorial we are going to learn how to upgrade an existing OEM 13 release to the OEM 13.5 in Oracle Linux platform. In the last couple of tutorials, we covered a lot of things about OEM in a virtual learning environment using Oracle VirtualBox virtual machines, starting with installation of OEM 13.5 to configure, monitoring and applying release updates, etc. I suggest you watch the previous tutorials in this series to get a better understanding on today's topic, which is about upgrading OEM. So under the first part of the topic in this tutorial, we will cover all the steps required to upgrade an existing OEM release 13.4 system to the release 13.5 in a Linux platform. In fact, OEM 13.4 is already out of support unless you have an extended support contract with Oracle Corporation, and release 13.5 is the latest on today's date. Also, upgrade method explained in this tutorial will be mostly the same for any other older release of OEM like 13.3, etc. I believe the same method will be valid for a future release also, unless Oracle suggests otherwise. So when we talk about upgrade of the OEM system, there are three major components involved and they have to be upgraded in the order mentioned in this slide. First, we have to upgrade the repository database, then we have to upgrade the OMS, and lastly, we have to upgrade the OEM agents. Upgrading the repository database is optional if you know that the target OEM version to which you are planning to upgrade already supports the existing repository database version. But if it does not, then first thing you have to do is to upgrade the repository, but at the same time, you have to make sure that the upgraded database version is also supported by your existing OEM system to avoid disruption in monitoring. In our test case, our source OEM system is in version 13.4 with an Oracle 18.3 repository database, and we want to upgrade that to OEM 13.5. But Oracle 18c is not supported by OEM 13.5 for its repository. So we have to upgrade the repository database to Oracle 19c first, which is supported by both OEM 13.4 and 13.5, and then we will upgrade the OMS to 13.5. And then finally we will upgrade all our existing OEM 13.4 agents to 13.5. Please note that we cannot upgrade the repository database directly to something latest like Oracle 21c or later, because it is supported neither by OEM 13.4 nor 13.5. So below will be our path to upgrade. First, upgrade the repository database to Oracle 19c. Second, upgrade the OMS from 13.4 to 13.5. And thirdly, upgrade the OEM agents from 13.4 to 13.5. I will demonstrate each and every step in the upgrade process, starting with how to search for the latest OEM version available to upgrade, how to download, going through the prerequisite checks, and then upgrade the repository, then the OMS, and then the agents respectively. So without delaying further, let's start with upgrading the repository database of our test OEM 13.4 system in the 64-bit Oracle Linux 7.9 platform. Please note that I have described all the steps and the commands that I am using in this tutorial in a shared document in my Google Drive. If you want, you can download the document using the link in the description of this video below. So I just logged into the OEM system as sysadmin user. First, in the OEM console, I will go to this sysadmin menu, and under that, About Enterprise Manager, where we can see that the Enterprise Manager Cloud Control is with release 4, that is OEM 13.4. Close it. Then we will go to the setup menu, and under that manage cloud control and repository. And in the page open, we see that the repository database is the catdb.manash.home and the version is 18.3. which we are going to upgrade to version 19.3. Next, we will check the compatibility architecture for the RDBMS and the OS with the OEM version that we have. Let's log into My Oracle Support and then go to the Certifications tab, and there in the product box we will select Enterprise Manager Base Platform OMS, and then in the release we will select 13.4. Let's have the platform as any and then click on the search button. Then in the search output we see the operating system certification is displayed by default, but we need to go to the database option here. So expand that, and under that we need to find out what is the repository version supported, whether the 19.3 version that we are planning to upgrade to is supported by 13.4 OMS or not. Now we can see that the Oracle database repository supported by OEM 13.4, it has 4 releases here, that is the 19, 18, 12.2 and 12.1. So this 19 is the one that we are looking for, so we are good. Next, we will reset this search criteria and we will again select the release as 13.5 for the same Enterprise Manager Base Platform, and then click on this search button. And in the search output, scroll down, and there under this database options, expand that, and in the repository we see that the 13.5 OEM supports the repository RDBMS version as 19. So we are good for our target version also. So our certifications have been validated, and now we are ready to upgrade our existing repository database version from 18.3 to 19.3. Please note that the method of upgrading the repository database is more or less the same as the upgrading of any other Oracle database, with just a few additional steps. So the first step we already did for the compatibility metrics and checks. Next, we will issue a blackout on the OMS as well as on the repository. To do that, we will go back to our OEM console, then go to Enterprise, Monitoring and Blackout. Then click on this Create button. Let the first option be selected as Blackout. Click on the Create button. Let's put a name like Blackout Repo Upgrade, and I'm not putting any other comments here. The reason will be, say, DB database upgrade. Then we are issuing a full blackout here, so both these options are checked, and then we will click on this Add button, and in the list of targets we don't have to select all of these. Instead, we will select the OMS and repository, this option, and that will bring down this list to just one entry here, that is management services and the repository. So select that, and then, as we don't know how long our database upgrade is going to take, it may be 1.5 to 2 hours or even more. So let's start a blackout immediately, and the duration will be, say, indefinitely. So once our upgrade activity is completed, we will manually stop this blackout. Then click on the Submit button. So our blackout repo upgrade, this particular blackout has been started. Next, I will establish an SSH session to the OEM server as Oracle user, which I already did, and the server name is admin server. And here my environment has been already set to execute the emctl command. First, I will see the status of the OMS, whether all its components are up or not, using emctl status OMS command. And we can see that the web tier is up, Oracle management server is up, JVMD engine is up, and BI publisher server is up. Now I'm going to issue the emctl stop OMS all command to bring down all the OMS components. So all our OMS components are currently down, and we should only have the database pmon process up currently in the server, and that database is nothing but the repository database. So we can see that the pmon process for the catdb, that is our repository database, is up. Also, let's take a look at the Aura tab entries, Aura tab, and we can see this catdb entries there, and it is running from the Oracle 18c home. So here we are going to follow the same method to upgrade the Oracle database in any other application or platform. Although I have summarized the upgrade activity in this video, I suggest you go through the upgrade documentations from Oracle before implementing it in your environment. So I have already downloaded the Oracle 19c software and also created one home, and under that 19c home, that is the 19.3 home, I have not created any databases yet, and that's the reason there is no entry here for that particular 19.3 home in this Aura tab file. And I will just show you where that particular Oracle home has been created. So change directory to U001 app Oracle product, and under that we can see that it is having 3 directories. That is one, the Oracle 18c, which is this home, and the 19.3 is the home where we will be upgrading our existing 18c database to, and this another home which is already there but we are not going to use it. So this is our target Oracle home to which we are going to perform our upgrade. I assume as a DBA you already know how to download and install Oracle RDBMS binaries, but if you want, you may watch the part 1 and 2 of the series named Mastering OEM, where I have demonstrated how to download and install Oracle RDBMS 19.3 binaries along with the prerequisite checks. I am not covering the download and installation part here to save time. So before we start anything, we have to make sure that we have taken a full backup of the existing database. Now in the SSH session that I established using Oracle user to the server, I will simply set the environment variable for this 19.3 home and access the GUI for Database Upgrade Assistant, or the DBUA. You can use the non-GUI or command line interface also instead of DBUA if you want, but I prefer to use the GUI as it is quick and easy. And then I will simply paste these export commands which I am using to set the environment variables, that is the Oracle base, which is the U001 app Oracle, then Oracle home, that is pointing to the new 19.3 home, and the LD library path, lib path, TNS admin, and the path variable. And now we will simply validate from where this DBUA command is going to use, and we can see that the which DBUA command is giving us the right path of DBUA, which is coming from 19.3. Now if you are using any SSH client other than MOBA Extern, then you may have to enable the X11 forwarding along with exporting the display variable. But as I am using MOBA Extern, I don't have to do these two things because it has the X11 forwarding enabled by default, and also I have the display variable already set in my environment. You can see this in the X server. So all I need to do is to run the DBUA command here, which will bring us the graphical user interface of the database upgrade assistant that is going to run from the 19.3 home, and we can see it has come up. In the next screen, that is step number 1 of DBUA, it will give us the list of all the candidate databases to upgrade, and from this list we need to select the one that is our repository database, which is this catdb. Just ignore the other database entry here. This is a database that I created for a different purpose. Now we have selected this catdb, and also you have to specify the sysdba username and the password for this particular database that we selected. So sysdba user is nothing but the sys user itself, and I have also provided the password. Then click on the next button. And the upgrade assistant will perform a few pre-upgrade checks. Let's wait for a couple of seconds to get the output. And it has given the output where we can see a couple of warnings and error messages, and some of these are manually fixable and some are automatically, and some will be done by DB upgrade assistant itself. So we will click on this fix and check again button to see which are the ones that is going to be fixed by DB UA. And in the output, we can see that at least one of the entries are gone. Now we have one manually clearable warning and another automatically fixable warning. And the manually clearable warning is saying there should not be any invalid objects in sys or system user schema. So we will run the utlrp script to take care of that. To do that, I will go back to the other window where I am going to connect to the database as sys user, and then we will run the utlrp script that is found in the Oracle Home RDBMS admin folder. So Oracle Home RDBMS admin, and the name of the script is utlrp, that is used to compile any invalid objects in the database in parallel mode, and it is very fast. So press enter. And the script has been successfully completed. Please note that this script must be run as sys with sysdba privilege to avoid any kind of access issues or privilege issues. Now we will go back to the other window where our DB UA GUI is running, and we will click on the check again button. And the check has been completed. Now we see there is only one warning that is remaining here, and that is going to be fixed automatically by the DB UA. So click next, and here it is giving us a couple of options, that is enable parallel upgrade, recompile invalid objects during post upgrade, and upgrade time zone data. So all these three options are good to be checked, so I'm leaving them that way. And we don't have any other additional scripts to be run before the upgrade or after the upgrade, so I am leaving them blank. Then click on the next button. Now it is asking whether to use a flashback and guaranteed restore point. So create a new guaranteed restore point. I am keeping this option on. And here use ARM and backups. Under this option, if we want, we can select this, and it is going to take a backup of the database before the upgrade. I am not selecting it here because this entire activity I am doing in a VirtualBox virtual machine, and I have already taken a snapshot of the entire virtual machine. So in case something goes wrong, I can restore the snapshot to go back to the previous working state of the virtual machine. In your real environment, you must take a full backup using RMAN, as well as you have to create a guaranteed restore point so that you can flash back the database in case something goes wrong. And the third option, that I have my own backup and restore strategy. This is something that you can select if you are already 100% sure that your backup policies and restore strategy is already in place and you are comfortable to go with the upgrade. Then click on the next button. Now in the new Oracle Home, that is the 19.3 Home, there is already one listener that is running in the port 1522, and we don't want to use this listener because we don't want to change the port on which the current listener is listening for our 13c database. if we use this new listener, then our connection configuration will change, and we have to again make that changes in our OEM configuration also. To avoid that, I am going to move the old listener that is in the 18C home to the new 19C home after our upgrade activity is done. And that way, I don't have to make any changes in the port, and our configuration for the OEM to connect to the repository database will remain the same. And now I will click on the next button. In the next screen, it is asking for configuring the database with the Enterprise Manager EM Database Express, and definitely we don't need it because our repository database itself is for the OEM, and OEM is going to take care of it. And also, we don't have to register this database with Enterprise Manager Cloud Control because this is the repository database itself and OEM already knows about it. Then click on the next button. And this is the summary page. This is giving us all the details and the options that I have selected here. And now we are ready to click on the finish button to start our upgrade activity. So whatever steps I followed, this is 99% the same as in case of upgrading an existing 18C database to 19C for any other application. It doesn't have to be specific to OEM. Now this upgrade process is going to take anything between 1 to 2 hours. And I will pause the video time to time or fast forward it where there is nothing to explain, and we'll come back once this upgrade process is 100% done. And we can see the upgrade status of the individual components here in this list. 38% has been completed. Okay, after about 1 hour, we can see that the upgrade has been successfully completed, and we have the results in front of us. And in the details, we can see that the total upgrade time taken was 1 hour, 11 minutes and 40 seconds. If you want, you can save these details in a text document. I'm just going to close this to go with the remaining steps. Now the next thing we need to do is to move the listener that was in the old 18C home to the new 19C home. To do that, first we will go back to the other window where I established the connection to the old 18C database, and I will just exit it, and just to check the status of the listener using psef grep tns, we can see that the name of the listener is listener OEM, which is running from the 18C home. The reason why I came back to this window is because the environment has been set for this particular Oracle home, so that I can stop the listener and move the files, that is the listener.ora file, to the new 19C home. So I will simply use lsnrctl stop listener OEM, and it has been stopped. Now I will go to the TNS admin location, that is database home, and under that network admin folder, and we see here we have the SQLnet.ora, tnsnames.ora, and the listener.ora. And we will first open the listener.ora file, where we see that the configuration information about the listener underscore OEM, this particular listener, and other details like what are the instances registered with it. So we will have to copy all this information to the 19C home. Now, if you want, you can copy this whole file from this old home to the new home. But if in the new home you have already one listener and which is running in different ports, then you have the risk of overwriting that if you completely move this file to the new home. So instead of doing that, I will go to the other window where my environment is set for the 19C home, and I will go to the TNS admin folder, and we will see what are the files available there. I will cat the listener.ora file, where we see there is a listener with the name listener, which is configured to run in the port 1522. So there is no conflict because our source listener is configured to run in port 1521. So we can simply copy the source listener to here. I will vi the listener.ora file, go back to the other window, copy all these details, that is the listener configuration and the instance configuration with that listener. Both these two parts or sections I have copied, and I will paste it below. And now the next thing we need to do is to also update this Oracle home, which has to be the new 19C home. So 19.3, please make sure that you put this home correctly. This is U001 app Oracle product 19.3 DB home 1, and then we will save and exit. Similarly, we will also go back to the tnsnames.ora file in the source 18C home, and we will just cat it to see if there is any specific entries. So we have the listener cat db, one entry is there, that is to configure the local listener in the database, and also one entry for the database cat db itself. So before copying, let's see once again in the target 19C home what is there inside the tnsnames.ora file. If it is a fresh installation, then ideally you should not have anything in the tnsnames.ora file, but I have these two entries already because I was doing some testing with other databases. So I will make some room below, and I will copy the source TNS entries from the 18C home that is related to the repository database to the target tnsnames.ora, and I will simply paste it. So what I did here, the listener cat db, there is one entry, and this particular entry is used for setting up the local listener parameter in the repository database, and there is another entry for the repository database itself, and everything looks fine. Both are running in the port 1521, and now we will save and exit it. Now we are going to start the listener_OEM from the new 19.3 home. So to do that, we'll use lsnrctl start listener OEM, and this will bring up the listener. And now we can see that the new listener has been up, and now it is running from the new 19C home. Now the next thing we need to do is to modify the environment variable entries in our .bash profile of the Oracle user. You may not have it in your environment, but we set it up in our environment so that every time you log into the shell using Oracle user, you don't have to set up these entries. So I will go to the home directory of the Oracle user, and we will vi the file .bash profile, and there we see that it has all the entries that is related to the old 18C home. With respect to the repository database, we will simply update it. So Oracle base is going to be the same. We will update the Oracle home, that is 19.3 here, that is under Oracle base, it is product 19.3 DB home. Then LD library path will be automatically taken. Oracle SID is catdb, Oracle unique name is catdb, TNS admin is automatically set, and agent home, this we will not modify yet. And OMS home, we will not modify it yet because we are still to upgrade those two parts. Now we will save this and exit. Now we will just execute it to make sure everything is correct using the dot space home location slash dot base profile, and our environment has been set just to do an echo dollar Oracle home to see if it is taking the new home. Yes, and all the activities that we need to perform after the upgrade has been completed for the database, and now we are ready to bring up our OEM system. So we will clear the screen first and then execute emctl start OMS command. As usual, bringing up the OEM system will take around 5 to 10 minutes. Then we have to complete the remaining steps that need to be done in the OEM console. And yes, now we can see that all the individual components of our OEM 13.4 system has been successfully brought up after the repository database has been upgraded. So now we will go back to the OEM console and we will log in back as sysman user. And in the summary page, we can see that 63% of the targets are shown as under maintenance. It is because we issued a blackout which is running indefinitely. Now we'll have to go back and stop the blackout first. To do that, we will go to Enterprise, Monitoring, Blackouts, and then click on the blackout name to list out all the blackouts which are currently active, and this is the one that we started before the upgrade, that is Blackout Repo Upgrade. Now we will select the line and click on this stop button. It will ask for a confirmation. Press the yes button and the blackout has been stopped. So when the stop of the blackout is in pending state, we will go to the target, then all targets, and then we will list out all the databases that we have, and there we see the repository database itself is a target, and we will right click on this database target, then go to Oracle database, and under that target setup, and then monitoring configuration. And here we have to modify this Oracle home path to the 19c home. So simply click on that, and then we will put the correct value here and make sure that the whole path is correct. That is U001 app Oracle product 19.3 db home 1. This is our Oracle home path, and click on the next button and then click submit. It will take a couple of seconds to accept the new settings. Press on the close button. And now we are in the home page of the repository database target, where we see that the version is now shown as 19.3. We'll refresh this page. Everything is loaded. And now we will go to the setup menu. Under that, manage cloud control, and under that, repository. While the page is still loading, we can see that the database is shown as catdb manus.home, which is of version 19.3. So we have validated that our repository database has been successfully upgraded. So with this, I am concluding this part of upgrading the repository database. In the next part, we are going to upgrade the OMS from 13.4 to 13.5. So viewers, please provide your feedback in the comment section of the video and hit the like button if you found it useful. That will mean a lot to me and help grow this channel.